Number 19, we have the absolute value of negative 65. Well, the absolute value of anything is the distance that number is from 0. And if you just had the absolute value signs without a negative sign in front, but just an absolute value with a number or an equation or an expression inside, that number will always be positive. Unless in this case we have a negative sign out front or an opposite sign out front. We'll get to that in just a second. So, negative 65 is exactly 65 units away from 0. Therefore, the answer is 65. In this example here, we want to know the opposite of the absolute value of 3 minus 11. Well, let's take this one step at a time. First of all, we have to solve within. Now, when you're taking a smaller number and subtracting a larger number from it, your answer will always be negative. And again, think about it like temperature. If it's 3 degrees outside and all of a sudden the temperature drops by 11 degrees, the new temperature is going to be negative 8. If it helps, you can draw yourself out a number line. And move over 11 spots. We're at 3 and we're going to drop 11, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to negative 8. So therefore our new expression is going to be the opposite of the absolute value of negative 8. Well, the absolute value of negative 8, as we learned up here, is going to be a positive number, which is going to end up being 8. But we are asking for the opposite of that. Therefore, the answer will be negative 8. Jason made 20 cupcakes. He will sell some today at the fair. The following equation represents this situation. Y equals negative x plus 20. Where x represents the number of cupcakes he sells and y represents the number that he has left. Tell how the change in one variable affects the other variable. Well, in order for us to compare how a change in one variable will affect the other, we must make a t-chart. And then come up with several different numbers to plug in for x and then to see how y is changed by that. So let's just go ahead and put in 1, 2, and 3. And that's really all we need to establish a pattern. And then we just plug these guys into this equation. Y equals negative x plus 20. Well, let's go ahead and plug the 1 in. Y equals negative 1, because we're plugging a 1 in here. We want the opposite of that, plus 20. Therefore, y in this case will equal 19, because we have a negative 1 and we're adding 20. Again, pretend the temperature outside is negative 1 degrees and all of a sudden the temperature rises by 20. Now let's plug the 2 in. Y equals negative 2 plus 20. Therefore, our answer is going to again be 18. Again, think of temperature. Negative 2 degrees outside, all of a sudden the temperature increases by 20, we're at 18. And finally, y equals negative 3 plus 20. And again, our answer will be 17. Now, we can start to see a pattern emerge. And no matter what, if we had a 4 or a 5 or a 6, we would start to see a new pattern. Because as we have here, as x increases by 1, y decreases by 1. As x increases by 1, from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, y is going to decrease from 19 to 18, from 18 to 17. Therefore, our answer is going to be as x increases by 1, Y decreases by 1. We're going to skip 23. '24, as we talked about in class, is a typo. Now, David is saving money to buy a new bike. The bike costs $271. Mike is paid at the end of each week at his job. He has already saved $150 and will save an additional $40 of his earnings each week until he can afford the bike. How many weeks until he can buy the bike? Well, we can do this in a very, very simple way. He already has $150. And at the end of week 1, he will have $40. That leaves us with $190. Well, he's not quite there yet. 190 plus 40 equals 230. That's week 2. 230 plus 40 on week 3 equals 270. Now he's close. He needs 271, but he's not quite there yet. He adds another 40 on week 4, and he has $310. He finally has enough at the end of week 4 to have the bike. What kind of correlation is represented by the graph below? Well, as you remember, whenever we do correlation, we have to move from left to right. And in this case, if we're starting on the left and going to the right, our numbers are going down. So for example, if this were 1, 2, 3, and 4, and as we went up in some other value, 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on, we can see that these numbers are starting to trend downward. Therefore, we have a negative correlation. Now, if we had seen a pattern like this right here, and as we went this way on the x-axis, and the numbers were going up like so, that would be a positive correlation. Now, if we had them all over the place, and then we could see no real pattern, we would call that no correlation. But the original question asked us, what do we have right here? And because it's going down like so, we have a negative correlation. Number 27, I'm going to allow you to do that one on your own. What is the range, interquartile range, and median shown in the box and whisker plot below? We will do this on the next video.